Welcome to Ecstatic Yoga Asana practice, our first morning of our Samadhi immersion. So grateful and honored that you're here today, joining me for our morning asana practice. This morning, we are going to focus on bandhas, foundation, and prana, and breath, prana and breath. We're going to begin the asana practice. I like to start with a little short chant, and we set an intention, and then we move into asana practice. So begin with our chant. I invite you to be in a nice, comfortable seated position. Gently and kindly close your eyes and just receive the energy of whatever spontaneous chant is going to arise in this moment. O te ke ahante anekeneha. O te ke ahante onekeneha. O te kene sehaya. O te kene seha. Akone o te kene sehaya enekeneha. Ehate ke sehate kene eha. Ehate kene sehate kene keha. Ekeha. Eke eke. Eke ekeha. Invite you now to go inside into your heart and set an intention for yourself. Always stating your intentions in the present moment. I have the life of my dreams now. Always in the positive. And I invite you to set that intention now for yourself. It could be for this practice, for this week, for this year. It could be a lifelong intention. And gently coming back and opening up your eyes. We're going to go into one pranayama exercise. After this will be our pranayama and meditation, and then our samadhi, of course. And we will be going through some little mini samadhis during this asana practice. I'm going to invite you to bring your pointer and your middle finger to the third eye. We're going to go into Nadi Shodhanam, alternate nostril breathing. And we're going to be closing off alternate nostrils. We'll always be switching on the exhale. I'm going to guide you through the first few breaths, and then I'll let you do a few breaths on your own. This breath balances your right and left sides of your brain. It balances your Ida and Pingala nadis, which brings that energy up for the Sushumna Madi Nadi, and we're balancing the energies throughout the energy systems and the body systems. So we're going to bring the pointer and the middle finger to the third eye, that point right between your brow. And we're going to have the pinky or the ring finger, whichever is easiest for you. For me, it's easiest with the pinky. We'll be alternately closing off those nostrils and breathing into the opposite nostril. So I'll invite you to bring your pinky finger down and close off that nostril. And we are going to exhale through the opposite side, exhaling Inhaling and then releasing the pinky finger and bringing the thumb to close off that opposite side, and exhale through your pinky side. Inhale, same side. Releasing the thumb, we're going to bring the pinky down to close that nostril and exhale through the thumb side. Inhale, same side. Releasing the pinky, bringing the thumb down, exhale, and continue on your own for a few breaths. And gently releasing the hand, releasing the breath. Beautiful job. We're going to move into our asana practice. We're going to start with a sun salutation. I invite you to come to your mat, standing up to the very front of your mat. We're going to be at the front of our mats. Feet are going to be hip width apart. And I'm going to go into the bandhas for a moment. So there's 3 bandhas, and the bandhas are energy locks we have in our body. And these energy locks seal in the energy. They're places we will engage so that we can lock that energy so that it's not leaking out of the body. And then while we're doing our asana practice and we're bringing prana and breath into the body, we're containing that energy. And there's no energy leaking out and releasing while we're moving through our asana practice. This is going to, it's going to bring more power to the asana practice. It's going to bring an increased energy buildup inside your body, which is what we're wanting. We're wanting to increase that inner energy inside our body for health, for vitality, for healing, for consciousness, for all those different ways. So the energy locks, there's 3 main energy locks that we use in the body. And the first one is the Mula Bandha. It's right down here. It's the perineum. And we engage that bandha by engaging that perineum. It's also could be the Kegel area for women who have learned to engage those Kegels on a regular basis, especially after childbirth. For men and for women, you can feel this bandha when you're urinating and you're going to the bathroom and you have to stop that urination flow. You feel that muscle there engage on the pelvic floor. And we don't want to cramp that muscle up. It's just a very gentle engaging. We want to support this pelvic floor and we want to keep this root chakra open. At the same time, we're going to engage the bandha ever so gently so that we're locking the energy in and there's not a leakage of energy out through that bandha. And the second bandha is the Uddiyana bandha. And that is we're bringing the belly in and up, engaging that belly a little bit, and bringing that energy up into the belly. That is our second lock. It locks the energy into the body. The third bandha is the Jarandala bandha. And we're going to bring that chin in just a little. Chin is level and parallel to the floor. And it comes in and back a little bit, and then the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. And that locks the Jarandala bandha. So we've got the three bandhas, the Mula bandha, engaging that perineum, the pelvic floor ever so gentle, those kegels. Uddiyana bandha, we're going to bring the belly in and up. That's our second energy lock. And then Jarandala bandha. Chin is going to come in and the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. Beautiful. And then we're going to bring the prana in, the breath. So we're inhaling the deep breath, inhaling into the belly and pelvic floor, bringing the breath all the way down. And then it can fill up into the lungs, but allow that breath and that prana to fill you up from the bottom up like a jug of water. If you poured water into a jug, it would drop down onto the bottom and it would start to fill up into the body. We're inviting the breath and the prana to do the same thing, because we'll be breathing and using prana through the entire practice. We're going to be engaging those bandhas, so that prana and the life force and the energy that we bring into the body is going to be contained during the process and build up and grow, which is what we want, intensify. And we're wanting that breath to fill up from the bottom up and then come up into the ribs, into the chest, like a three-part yogic breath. Always bringing that breath down into the belly first. So we're going to take a couple nice breaths into the belly only. And now let's take a couple three-part yogic breaths. So breath will come into the belly, filling up into the ribs, and into the chest, even all the way up into the clavicular area, and release. Let's do two more of those into the belly, the ribs, and the chest, and release. One more three-part yogic breath, training this body how to breathe into the belly, the ribs, all the way up into the chest and the clavicular area, and release. Beautiful. And as we go into our yoga, the first thing we want to set in a yoga posture, in an asana posture, whenever you're in a pose, the very first thing you want to set is your foundation. And that's where your body is touching the earth. And at this moment in mountain, we're going to start a sun salutation into mountain. My feet, my 2 feet are touching the earth. So I'm going to set my foundation so that my feet are hip width apart. And I want to make sure my weight is balanced on both feet, all points of the feet. So the sides of the feet, the outer, the inner, the back, the front, balanced on these feet. Right under the hips, hip width apart. And then I'm going to move my body back and forth a little bit to find that center of gravity for myself, where my body feels its perfect center of gravity. And you'll feel that it's very natural for you. Very natural. Beautiful. And let's take a breath all the way, setting that foundation. We're going to be setting the foundation through this practice while we engage our bandhas and use the breath and the prana to build the energy inside the body. We're going to begin in our sun salutation into mountain. And the first thing we're going to do is we've got our foundation set. we're going to move into some loops to bring the body into better alignment. We'll go into this a little further in tomorrow's asana practice. But we're going to begin to lift the toes a little bit so we feel a little lift of the arch, and then rest those toes back down. Engage your calves in your shin loop. The energy is coming up the back of the calves and it's going down the front of the shins in your shin loop. And now we're going to engage the quadriceps, the thighs. The energy's coming, this is our thigh loop, so the energy's coming from below the knees. You feel a lift of your knees, and then you feel those quadriceps engage. And you will feel those knees straightening out into better alignment. Perfect. And we'll move into pelvic loop. And so we're going to feel the tailbone tuck under just a little bit, and the pelvic come into neutral. Belly in and up. Beautiful. And the kidney loop, we're going to feel a lift of the ribs. Beautiful. And then the energy is going to come up from here in our shoulder loop. It's going to come all the way up. It's going to come up to right between our two lips. So the chin is going to come parallel to the floor. The energy is going to come back behind our mouth, back. And so we're going to feel those shoulders moving back, and the energy drops down our back. So you're going to feel those shoulders drop down. Beautiful. And then our final loop, we're going to feel the crown of the head lift up towards the heavens, towards the sky, towards the ceiling, wherever you are, lifting up. Beautiful. Elongating the spine, the entire body. And we're in our beautiful, perfect alignment. And we may adjust this at times. You might feel that kidney loop come out, or the pelvic loop come out, or any loop, and we can re-engage it. So we're going to start with our mountain posture. I'm going to come to the side now. It's a little easier. Beautiful. So we're going to bring those giant angel wings up into an extended mountain. And bend back just a little bit and let the head drop back just a little. And let's all inhale here. Big breath into the belly. And as we exhale, the arms are going to go way out to the side to protect the lower back. We're going to stick that tailbone out just a little bit to protect the lower back. And we're going to be hinging down in our forward fold from our hips. So right now, other than my mouth, the only thing that's moving in my body is that hip joint. So allow your body to hinge down. And then when you feel you're at the end of your hinge, allow the spine to round down. Beautiful. And you can either use a block, you need a block. You can bring those hands down to a block, or you don't need a block. You can take those thumbs next to the little toes and allow the head to relax down. The knees may be bent a little bit, that's okay. Or you could be using a block, and let's just shake the head out a little bit. Yes and no, and backward and sideward very gently. Let the head release, and all those muscles on the neck release and relax. Beautiful job. And we're going to inhale and come up halfway, bring the hands to the shins, and we're going to extend that spine and head out, away from the body. Take a deep inhale. Beautiful. And exhaling down, thumbs back down next to the little toes, and release. And then we're going to inhale, lifting the head and the heart, and we're going to bring the right leg back behind us. And we're going to be in a high lunge or runner's pose. Nice high lunge. We're going to come all the way up. Knee's going to be right over the ankle. It can be a little behind, but never forward of the ankle, because that puts pressure on your knee. Back thigh is engaged in that thigh loop. We're engaging those loops as we go, and we're going to raise those hands up into a nice lunge, high lunge, runner's posture. If you need modification, you can come down to your knee, into your posture. You can relax down into the knee if this is easier for you, or you can stay in this high lunge. Remembering, you can always modify a posture and make adjustments. And at any time during the practice, if you need to rest or get into child's pose or just a seated pose, that's always the invitation. We are going to engage those bandhas now. The Mula Bandha, engage that perineum, those kegels ever so gently. Uddiyana Bandha, belly comes in and up. Jarandala Bandha. And let's breathe. Let's bring that prana in. Remember, into the belly first. And then fill the chest. Beautiful. And then let's all go into a nice exhale, inhale together. And then we're going to exhale. We're going to bring the hands back down to the mat. And we're going to go into downward facing dog. So we're going to take that front leg back to meet the back leg. And we're in downward facing dog. Feet are hip width apart, hands in front. And we're going to bring those thigh bones back. Tailbone is going to lift up towards the ceiling. And we're going to relax and release the head. And engage those bandhas and breathe. 3 nice, deep, flowing breaths. And on your next inhale, we are going to hinge into a nice plank push-up position. Now, if you need to come down to your knees, that's okay. Find your adjustment or your modification, or you can stay in full plank. And we're going to move into chaturanga. So we are going to slowly come down towards the mat. And just before we hit the mat, we're going to scoop ourselves forward, resting on the tops of our feet and coming up into an up dog position. And you can rest those thighs down on the mat, or you can keep them lifted up. And let's breathe 3 breaths. And on your next exhale, curling those toes under, and we're going to exhale into downward facing dog again. Beautiful job. Tailbone is lifting up, thighs are back, and head is relaxed. And let's take 3 breaths here. Heels are coming towards the mat. On your next inhale, lifting the head and the heart, looking through your hands, and we're going to walk or step or just that right leg back up by the hands. And we're going to move into a high lunge again. So we're going to lift up. Remember, you can come down into a low lunge. Knees right over the ankle. Back thigh is engaged. Let's Engage those bandhas. Mula bandha, Uddiyana bandha. Bringing the belly in and up, and Jarandala bandha. Chin is in, tongue's on the roof of the mouth. Engage those bandhas and let's breathe. Remembering to bring that breath down to the belly first. And now on your next inhale, inhaling up together. And then on your exhale, we're going to bring the hands down to the mat. We're going to walk that back foot up to meet the front in forward fold. Relaxing the head again and exhaling completely. Engage those bandhas and let's bring 3 deep breaths into our forward fold. On your next inhale, we're going to bring the arms way out into angel wings to protect the lower back. Lift the head first, protect the lower back and the chest, hinging up, hinging up, hinging up, all the way up, beautiful. And come up to a beautiful mountain posture again. And in our mountain posture, we're going to do a little side to side stretch. So let's see, I'm going to get all the way in here. So we are going to take one hand and just gently stretch that over. We're not going to collapse into this side body. We're going to allow a nice stretch over into this side body. Beautiful. And engage the bandhas and breathe. Beautiful. Let's move over to the other side. Opening up this other side body here. And breathe. Engage those bandhas. Beautiful. And coming back up to center. We go into a little back bend. And we are going to go back into our second sun salutation. So we're going to inhale into a nice back bend. We're going to focus now on our foundation as well as the bandhas and the breath. So inhaling back. Feet are hip width apart. Inhaling into our forward fold, sticking that tailbone out, hinging at your hips, big angel wings out to the side. Allowing the spine to round and bringing the hands down. So now we have our hands touching right by the feet. I like to have my thumbs next to my little toes. And we have the feet hip width apart, rooted into the earth. This is our forward fold foundation. And once the foundation is set, we're just going to release the head and rest into the posture. And engage the bandhas and breathe. Beautiful. On your next inhale, lift your head and your heart. We're going to bring the right foot back. So our front foot is forward, back foot is back. We're in a lunge. So we're going to keep that both feet 90 degrees. We're in high lunge or runner's posture. And this is our foundation. So the foundation is set, knees right over the ankle, and then we bring the arms up into our high lunge. Beautiful. And engage those bandhas and breathe. Nice deep inhale. You get to that inhale, we're going to lift up. And then we're going to exhale, coming down, hands back down on the floor, and that front foot is going to come back. We're going to move into downward facing dog. Both feet are back, heels are coming down towards the floor, and both arms are out in front of you, a little more than shoulder width apart. Feet hip width apart, and releasing the head. So our foundation is set. Both feet solidly on the ground, both hands just a little in front, solidly on the ground, supporting our body. We're going to engage the bandhas and breathe. Coming now into a plank position. Very similar foundation. I'm going to have the hands right underneath my shoulders. Feet are hip width apart behind me on the mat. Nice solid foundation, which allows me to come down nice and slowly. Try to keep those elbows in, keep them from expanding out to the side. Coming down just a little before the mat. You need to bring your knees to the mat, your legs and thighs, that's okay. And moving forward into a beautiful up dog. My foundation is shifted a little bit. My arms are still solidly on the mat, but now the tops of my feet are resting on the mat, and possibly your thighs may be. Wherever our body's connected. Let's take one more deep breath in. And we're going to exhale, pushing into the hands, rolling those feet back so you're back onto your toes. I like to shorten up in downward facing dog a little bit more than in plank, and exhaling completely. Solid foundation, both feet, both hands supporting the body. Engage the bandhas and let's breathe. On your next inhale, lifting the head, lifting the heart, and we're going to walk or step, or you might want to just take one giant step. However many steps it takes you to bring that hand so it's back up by the foot, so it's back up by your front hand. And we're going to go into our runner's lunge now. So the feet are both 90 degrees. One is in back and one is in front. Knees right over the ankle. And we're going to lift those arms up into a beautiful high lunge. Beautiful. Engage those bandhas and bring the prana and life force in. And on your last inhale, reaching up really high. And as you exhale, bring in those arms back down to the mat. Back foot comes up to meet the front into forward fold. Feet are hip width apart, solidly in. Hands are down by the toes. And let's rest the head, shake it out, and exhale. And let's breathe. And you can take your hands and hold your shoulders for a little increased stretch. And let's engage the bandhas and breathe. Beautiful job. We're going to come back up into our mountain posture. So we're going to lift the head and the heart first. Arms are going to come way out to the side to protect the lower back. We don't ever want to put them like this. That puts so much pressure on the lower back. So we'll bring them out to the side and we're going to hinge up, hinging at this hip joint all the way up. Coming all the way up into our mountain posture. Beautiful job. We'll go into a little back bend. We're going to do one more sun salutation to breath. Inhaling back. Exhaling forward. Focusing again on our foundation. Exhaling. Let the head come down. Shake it out a little bit. Feet are solidly on the earth, hip distance apart. We're going to lift up halfway. Hands on the shins and extend that spine out. Beautiful. Taking one nice deep breath here. And releasing down. Into forward fold again. And we're going to inhale, lifting the head and the heart and bringing the right leg back into a nice lunge. And then we're going to bring those arms up. So we're in a nice high lunge. Beautiful job. Knees over the ankle. Feet are 90 degrees. And engage those bandhas and breathe. Next, deep inhale, lifting up. And we're going to exhale down into downward facing dog. Bringing those hands in front on the mat. Front leg comes back to meet the back leg. Hip distance apart. Both arms in front on the earth. Both hands, both feet. Relaxing the head. Setting that foundation solid. Bringing the heels down towards the floor. Thigh bones back and tailbone is sticking out. Engage your bandhas and breathe. Beautiful job. We're going to skip our chaturanga and we're going to go into a up dog to the breath. So on the next inhale, we're just going to scoop those hips down and up. Bring the head up, the chest up, shoulders back. Beautiful job. And your feet can be resting. You need to rest those thighs on the floor. That's okay too. Let's breathe here. Nice deep inhale. And on your next exhale, curl those toes under and we'll go back into our downward facing dog. Beautiful. I like to adjust my foundation just a little bit so that my hands and feet are a little closer in down dog. Sticking that tailbone up, thigh bones back, heels coming down towards the floor. Solid foundation with both hands and both feet supporting our body. And engage those bandhas and breathe. 3 breaths. On your next inhale, we're going to lift the head and the heart. Bring that right leg back up between your hands. Solid foundation. Both feet are 90 degrees because we are in high lunge or low lunge. If you need to come down to a low lunge, that works too. You can challenge yourself into high lunge, knees right over the ankle, and bring those arms up. Beautiful. Back thighs engaged. Let's engage those bandhas. All those beautiful bandhas, engage those. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, and Jarandala Bandha. And let's bring the energy, prana, life force into the body with breath. Remember letting that breath come down into the belly first, and then up into the whole chest area, and release. Next inhale, we're going to reach up even higher. Those fingertips. And then on the exhale, we're going to bring the hands down to the floor into our forward fold. Back foot is going to come up to meet the front. Beautiful job. Hands are next to the little toes. And if you need to use a block, that's fine too. And we're going to relax and release the head. Good job. You can bring those hands so they're grabbing the opposite elbow. And let's breathe. And release, exhaling the breath. At your next inhale, we're going to lift the head. We're going to lift the heart. Giant, big angel wings, hinging all the way up and all the way forward into your mountain posture. I invite you to bring those hands down to the heart in Anjali Mudra, prayer position. Whatever feels right for you. We're going to go into our mini Samadhi right now. Beautiful job with that sun salutation. I'm going to take a moment to feel our feet rooted into the earth. Feel our body 360 degrees around the entire body. And move ourselves into the breath, taking a nice deep breath into the belly, the ribs, the chest. Taking a couple deep breaths. Beautiful job. I invite you to go into the body. Withdraw all your attention from the outer world and bring your attention into the body and noticing the sensations in the body. Noticing your heart beating, that pulsation, the center of your chest. Noticing any vibrations, warmth, cool, flowing of energy, tingling, trembling. Bringing your awareness inward. What's going on inside my being? Inside me? Inside you? Bring your awareness now to the emotions that are flowing through your being. Never labeling them, defining them, putting a word on them, basking in the felt sense of the emotions and allowing them with no judgment, absolutely no judgment, just to be felt, to simply be felt. Allow the emotions to have a space. I invite you now to bring your one-pointed, concentrated focus on your heart center. All your attention, all your mental focus on your heart center. And now release that focus on your heart and allow your mind just to go into a meditative awareness, a meditative flow of awareness. Bringing you into full expanded awareness where you are everything, nothing. Everywhere, nowhere. Taking another deep breath. Feeling the feet on the earth, your hands touching in front of you, and releasing the hands, releasing the body. Let's shake out the body a little bit. And we could do a couple little twists. Beautiful job. Beautiful job. So we're going to come to a seated position. Feeling those sits bones rooted on the earth. Feeling your body comfortable. And we're going to close our eyes another minute. And we are going to rest in all this beautiful energy of this asana practice. We're going to go into one more Nadi Shodhanam. So bring the fingers to that third eye, that point right between your brows. And we're going to drop that thumb down to close that nostril. And we're going to inhale through the pinky side. Exhale as we switch, lift the thumb and drop the pinky down to close that nostril and exhale. Inhale, same side. Release the pinky, bring the thumb down to close that nostril and exhale over to that new side. Inhaling same side. And switch and begin to practice your Nadi Shodhana prana on your own, at your own pace, in your own rhythm. And release the breath, release your hands. Keeping your eyes closed for a moment, let's bring ourselves back to that intention that we set at the beginning of our practice. O te ke ahane se hane, o te kene se ha, o te kene se ha te hone, o te sene ke ha. I honor the place in you in which the entire universe dwells. I honor the place in you which is pure love, pure light. And when I am in that place in me, and you are in that place in you, we are one. Namaste. Thank you greatly for joining me for ecstatic yoga asana practice, day 1 of our Samadhi immersion. We will be moving into the pranayama and meditation, and then we will be doing our first Samadhi of the retreat and the immersion. Welcome, and we'll meet you in pranayama and meditation.